the end of the world. Are you sure? Because if you are absolutely sure, then maybe your brain has already been washed. Welcome to the laundry of lies, where we don't just listen to the story, we check what survived the wash. Your idol. Do you need an idol, a leader? Someone to tell you what to think? If you do, you may be in the wrong place. Because instead of showing you my face, I put a washing machine here. It can serve as the symbol of this channel. My face would only be useful if you wanted me to become your idol. And honestly, we already have enough idols. Outside, people are celebrating the victory of the alternative worldview. Everything seems clear now. The elite is full of predators. Aliens are coming. Lockdowns showed us what a dystopian society might look like. And somehow, everything smells like the end of the world. Or maybe it's just dirty laundry. Laundry that needs to go into the machine. So let me turn it on, and let's begin. The history of fear. History shows us that humans have predicted the end many times. Early Christian communities expected the final judgment to arrive soon. Around the year 1000, some people interpreted the coming millennium through fear and apocalyptic expectation. In 1844, followers of William Miller expected the return of Christ in what became known as the Great Disappointment. In 1910, some feared that Halley's Comet might poison Earth's atmosphere. In 1999 and 2000, Y2K panic made many believe that modern systems could collapse overnight. And then, closer to our time, came 2012. Millions of people believed the world might end because an ancient Maya calendar cycle was coming to an end. But the calendar did not actually predict apocalypse. It simply marked the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. Modern fear did the rest. People added hidden planets, pole shifts, solar storms, spiritual transformation, and global catastrophe. And when the date finally arrived, nothing happened. The world continued, and the fear itself became a real event. And then came lockdowns. For a while, the world looked like something taken from a dystopian novel. Cities went silent. Borders closed. People were told to stay inside. Media screens screamed danger day after day. Fear-mongering scientists were constantly shown. Others who disagreed with them were ignored. When fear enters the room, people stop asking questions. So should we expect the end of the world? I'm not so sure. But we should be very careful with those who sell certainty. The future of fear. Today, the world feels unstable again. Wars are happening. Global tensions are rising. Every side says it wants peace, while preparing for something worse. And yet, nobody seems to want to call it what it feels like. Why? Maybe because the phrase "world war" is too heavy. Maybe because people still believe the situation can be controlled. Or maybe because powerful people prefer slow escalation, as long as ordinary people keep paying the price. Because let's be honest, does the ordinary person want war? Does the young man want to die for someone else's strategy? I doubt it. Even in places where people are not only brainwashed but also ironed, I believe most ordinary human beings would still choose life over war. So maybe war escalates only when ordinary people stop resisting it. And maybe one form of resistance is very simple. Do not reward politicians who speak too comfortably about war. Do not applaud those who treat destruction like a career opportunity. Do not let fear make you obedient. There is also another fear being sold today, the fear of a coming dystopian society. A future worse than any authoritarian regime we have ever seen. A future where movement is restricted, privacy disappears, technology enters the body, and freedom becomes a subscription service. But how real is that danger? Maybe it is real, maybe it is exaggerated, or maybe it depends on one thing: how much people are willing to accept. Because no dystopia appears fully built overnight. It arrives step by step. Convenience first, safety second, control later. And if people refuse? History shows something important. Sooner or later, people push back, not always quickly, not always peacefully, but they do. False catastrophic predictions often share certain signs. They demand immediate fear. They discourage questions. They punish doubt. They claim certainty before the evidence is clear. They turn complex events into simple emotional stories, and they often say, "Trust us now, think later." That is where we should pause. A serious warning allows investigation. A manipulative warning demands obedience. A serious warning can survive questions. A manipulative one cannot. The end of the world may come one day, or maybe the world will simply keep changing, as it always has. Civilizations will rise, systems will fall, ideas will collapse, new ones will replace them. But every generation seems to believe it is living at the edge of something final. Maybe that is human nature, or maybe it is the oldest story ever sold. So when someone tells you the world is ending, ask questions. What do they actually mean? Who is saying it? Where have we seen this before? How do they know? And why do they want you to believe it? Resist, not the truth, not honest warnings. Resist the washing of your mind. And now, I'm turning off the lights. That's enough laundry for today.